This right here is a #2 meal from McDonald's, a Quarter Pounder Deluxe with fries and a soda. And this is the same exact meal, but I grew 70% of the ingredients in my garden. This is my journey to turn McDonald's from fast food to slow. All right, so we are headed to McDonald's. I actually have not eaten fast food in 10 years, I would say. Since the last time I made a video on fast food, I think I went to Wendy's. And the reason I'm doing this video is it's absolutely just abundance in the garden right now. I think I can make an entire meal from McDonald's for my garden, or at least close. I don't have any cows and I'm making a burger. So fries, drink, and burger, and do it with as many ingredients, either homegrown or forage, as possible. But first, we need inspiration. We need to investigate a little bit. So we're going to McDonald's. They've gotten so much nicer. Look at this. It's like a theme park. There we go. So, already f***ed up. Hello. I'm gonna get the #2 deluxe.
Did you want the meal?
Yeah, the meal.
Got it. Medium or large?
Large. And can I have that with a root beer?
We don't have root beer.
You don't have root beer? Okay, Coke with that.
$12.70.
This is all kind of... It's changed a lot. That caught me off guard. That happened so quick. I'm like, I thought I would have time to like look at the menu a little bit more. All right, thank you. We got the goods. Back to the studio. The smell already brings me right back. I can't believe that they don't have root beer. Like, I wonder if this is a nationwide cancellation. We're gonna have to look into it. Is root beer just not cool anymore? Like, am I that old? We're gonna have to look into this root beer cancellation. Here we go.
Nothing more appetizing than a fresh cold
That's
Coke.
what I said. I mean, not having root beer?
It's ridiculous.
So you think it's because...
I think it must be because McDonald's are sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And so they don't sell a Coca-Cola branded root beer.
We're still making root beer because
root beer is the best.
and you can make it from foraged things, whereas Coca-Cola,
Coca-Cola
like, that's
is-
actually, it's Coke. Cocaine, right? Yeah. Like, originally. I mean, those haven't changed.
Nope.
Those have not changed at all. Okay, so look at the picture of this Quarter Pounder, how perfect. I've been studying this thing. They're just so good at food styling, at food porn, and false advertising for the most part. Well, let's see. Okay. Not
bad.
as bad as I thought. All right, it's got everything in there.
Holding its layers.
It's holding its layers. The bun is very nice. A little uneven.
Yeah, but like the bun
That's
is
like
nice
whoever-
and shiny.
yeah.
Tomatoes look ripe, kind of.
Tomatoes look ripe. Yeah. The reason I chose the Quarter Pounder specifically, I wanted to make the Big Mac, but the Quarter Pounder Deluxe had the most crossover with the garden.
The lettuce, tomato.
Yeah, just all of the garden goods.
Yeah.
So we can make these, make a soda. We can make ketchup from scratch.
Can't make American cheese from scratch.
No,
though.
that one, no.
I wonder how.
Yeah. All right, here we go. First bite in 10 years.
Oh my god, really? I've definitely had McDonald's more recently than that.
Tastes just like I remember it. Everything becomes a one-tone, mushy goodness in your mouth with all of like...
Unfortunately, it's just so good. I mean,
but that is the point. It's the mushy consistency all the way through with like all of the vegetables become soft. The mayo and the ketchup just create like a gooiness. The cheese, the bun, everything is soft.
Yeah.
That's heavy with the mayo and the ketchup.
I can't believe the Big Mac has another layer of bread.
Yeah,
That's
which
a
I'm
lot.
fine with this. This is a nice little package. All right, fries.
Yeah, fries. I'm pretty well versed with a McDonald's French fry. When they're not hot, they're kind of gross. They're not even that crispy. That's
I
what
didn't
mean.
expect them.
You
to
didn't
be
expect
that
them to be crispy?
No, I feel like they never were that crispy.
Really? I feel like I
McDonald's,
must immediately eat them as soon as I receive them.
I think this is like standard,
Yeah.
like it's always been like, it's
But-
about the smell and the flavor,
Yeah.
whatever they're doing
Yeah.
with the scents.
Yep. It's not bad.
Oh, pickles. We are now well versed in pickles.
Well into the pickle season. Only one pickle.
No, that's why at first I didn't taste it. One pickle.
That's blasphemy.
That pickle was good.
The pickle was good.
a classic, very thin, not too sweet, more salty, but just delicious pickle. That was fine.
One pickle though.
Oh, we got a pickle for you. Yes.
Thank God.
Thank God, because now we can know what pickle to use since we have like every type of pickle now in the storage that we.
It's very garlicky.
Garlic. So we go with the garlic.
I think we should
dill.
go with the garlic dill.
You know, I thought like from not having it for so long that I don't know, like it would have more of like a fake, like,
No,
you know,
it's
chemical.
still good.
It's It's solid.
Yeah. Tastes good, but you know that if you eat the whole thing,
Yeah.
your stomach is going to hurt.
It's gonna be a problem. And that's what we're doing. We're taking fast food out, okay? We're replacing with slow food, which is the garden.
growing.
But we are keeping, or trying to keep, as much of the essence of the flavor, of the taste, of the texture, and just the overall vibes of this whole thing. We're not just making a burger.
Yeah.
We're making it all.
The meal.
So let's get into the deconstruction of this number 3 meal from McDonald's. And we're gonna start off with the fries. Now, I did an entire potato video a few weeks back, but I did leave a few patches in the ground specifically for these fries. It's the biggest potato I've ever grown. I remember seeing this viral Makohon clip talking about how McDonald's specifically grows this variety called russet Burbank potatoes, which is a very long potato because McDonald's likes that nice bouquet of fries effect coming from the box. But because they're harder to grow, they use an insane amount of pesticides and chemicals to the point where the farmers can't even go in their farms without masks on. Well, these are not russet Burbanks. They're varieties similar to Yukon Gold. They're not gonna be as long, but they still will make incredible French fries. Now, McDonald's fries are actually brined for that extra flavor, and I tested both pre-cooking them in the brine and then soaking them in the brine, and the soaking actually performed better. So I'll peel the potatoes, slice them into McDonald's size fries, add them to a container with a little salt, sugar, and vinegar, and let them brine and infuse overnight in the fridge. Then that brine gets drained off. I'll dry the fries. You can see they're slightly more rubbery from that brine at this point. And then they go through their first fry at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, just so they really cook through and get a very light fry on the exterior. And then once all the potatoes go through their first fry, I'm gonna throw them in the fridge just to dry off a little bit. You can also freeze them if you wanna make them at a later point. And then they'll go through their final fry at the same temperature of oil. And you just wanna make sure that the oil is not too hot or they'll get too much color and they'll start to break away from that classic style, that lighter McDonald's French fry. All right, let's talk about this beef patty. And I do not have any cows on the premises here on Long Island. I don't think that's legal around here, nor do I have the space. So for now, I'm turning to my closest source of beef, which is from upstate New York. And I've got a nice 80-20 ground beef blend. And I'm bringing out the scale because of course we're making quarter pounders, which is very easy to replicate. And I'm assuming McDonald's means quarter pound patties before they're cooked. I'm gonna pre-shape the patties in a ring mold to get a nice circle. Then I'll press them out to about the same height as the McDonald's burgers. And I'll season them on the top side with salt and pepper and then just pop them in the freezer to firm up a bit. Now to grill these babies up, I'm turning to my carbon steel griddle from the sponsor of today's video, Made In. I absolutely love this carbon steel griddle. It's made in Sweden from the same professional grade carbon steel that the best chefs in the world use. And it's really just one of the most versatile cooking surfaces in the kitchen. It's heat safe all the way up to 1200 degrees, but really all these burgers need is a medium low heat. Because that carbon steel retains heat so well, you can have a nice slow cooking effect to really render out that fat and create a beautiful crust. Carbon steel is also naturally non-stick, so you don't have to put up a big fight when flipping your burgers trying to retain that crust that you really work so hard to create. Also, with the design of these handles, these griddles can be converted very easily for outdoor use over coal or fire, which is a nice design element and really adds to the versatility. And those little design elements paired with the quality is the reason I've been a Made In fan for so long. They partner with all family-owned manufacturers in the US, France, UK, and Italy to produce some extremely high-quality kitchenware at a great price. So if you're interested in this griddle or other Made In products, check out the link below. So we're moving on to these burger buns, and in my opinion, there's nothing super special about a McDonald's burger bun. It's just a classic fast food soft and fluffy bun with the addition of sesame seeds. And that fluffiness is usually achieved with a lot of yeast and a quick fermentation. My recipe is very simple. It's 500 grams of flour, and I'm using 2 teaspoons of dough conditioner, which is optional, but just like hair conditioner, it will give your bread an extra layer of softness, more like you're buying it from the store. Then 1.5 teaspoons of yeast, 2 teaspoons of oil, 300 grams of water, and 3 teaspoons of salt. I mixed and kneaded the dough, and I let it double in size on the counter. And to get that perfect bun, I made some circle molds out of tin foil, which I placed on parchment paper, spraying everything down with oil so those molds were non-stick. And I cut off little pieces of that dough, shaped them in balls, and placed them right in the middle of the mold. Then I sprayed them with more oil and of course topped them with sesame seeds and just let them proof until they filled out those molds and baked them in the oven at 450 degrees for around 13 to 14 minutes. Moving on to that McDonald's beverage, and it turns out, after doing some research, there's tons of threads on this root beer removal from McDonald's. There's even a change.org petition to bring back the root beer. And all of the information is a little bit mixed. There's nothing concrete. I think ultimately root beer has just fallen a little bit out of pop culture in the drink world compared to its heyday a few decades ago. But it's the soda I can actually make from scratch because of this right here, sassafras. This is a tree that grows everywhere here on Long Island and a lot of other places in the US. It was once an extremely valued commodity due to its high medicinal uses, which now you would never know because it's so abundant. And the roots of sassafras taste exactly like root beer. That's actually how root beer was first made. So I foraged some of this from the woods, and I'm gonna remove the roots in the lower stem area, and I'm gonna peel off that outer bark and skin and chop them into little pieces. Now these are all the additional ingredients I'll be using to make this soda. So I'll add the sassafras to a pot along with some ginger, cinnamon, star anise, and cloves. Then I'll dump in my water, and I'll sweeten this mixture with sugar and molasses, which will really give it that dark root beer color. And on a medium heat, I'm gonna reduce this mixture by half until it forms this super aromatic sweet syrup, which then gets strained off, topped with more water. Now you could throw this through the soda stream and get some soda, but for a more natural carbonation, I'm using just a little bit of baker's yeast, which I'll mix in, and then I'm gonna bottle these up with just a little bit of that sassafras in the bottles. And then in just one day, these were fully carbonated and ready to be enjoyed. All right, so we have to talk about all of this action right here. These are the toppings that make this the deluxe version of the quarter pounder. And again, it's the reason I chose to recreate this sandwich because I had so many of these ingredients in my garden. First up, we've got these Roma tomatoes, which are extremely prolific right now in the greenhouse. I'll pick a bunch of these and they get sliced up thin. We've got some sweet onion, which I grew earlier this season and is now stored in my pantry for the winter. I'm gonna slice one up nice and thin, and I'll just let it soak in some water to remove some of that bite. We've got lettuce, which is a little bolty right now in the garden due to the summer heat, but I did have some romaine holding on for dear life, which I washed up and sliced nice and thin. One topping I didn't grow was this classic American cheese. That comes from the store. We've got pickles, and you know the pickles are going off here. I just made a full video on every type of pickle making you can do at home. These are from the shelf-stable pickles that I made, and I'm choosing the garlic variety, which I think matches perfectly with the pickle that McDonald's uses. I did just have to slice these up a little thinner to match that size. And finally, for the sauces, we've got your classic mayo. Carly whipped up a fresh batch using some yolks from the chickens. Check out this lucky double yolk we use for this mayo. And finally, ketchup, which I made completely from scratch using a lot of garden ingredients. Actually, all of these homegrown ingredients went into the ketchup with the additional of a few from the store. This recipe's from my blog, which I link below. It uses Roma tomatoes and has that classic Heinz 57 spice action. And overall, it has a fresher, lighter experience than a classic Heinz bottle because you're not using tomato paste, but those flavors are spot on. Carly was making fun of me because this was such high pressure for me. She was like, oh, you would have crumbled in a restaurant.
I wasn't so hard.
It's a different type of pressure. So we've got 2 quarter pounder deluxes. We've got fries, ketchup.
And a large root beer.
Yeah, this is a root beer rebellion right
Yeah.
now. We're standing strong against McDonald's. Look at this.
And that's two days ago you made it?
Yeah, it was too much yeast. It did not need that much carbonation. Cheers. You have the sassafras in there. I would have toned down the molasses a little bit, but I've been watering this down and it's just like so good. It doesn't even need to be that strong.
The sassafras is so root beer. It's like so,
root beer.
Licorice-y.
So good. Ugh. So I would say from building this, it felt in the moment a little bit trickier than I imagined. Just like you're looking at a picture online, and you're like, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then I think the only other main complaint, burger looks good, everything else looks good. Buns needed a little bit more color.
Yeah.
I could have taken the ring off.
Yeah.
And
gotten more color around
once
this.
it created that nice shape. But
Wow.
It's just so much better because the meat is so much juicier.
Yeah. Instantly it tastes more like a real burger. Less of a fast food taste due to more texture.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes. Yeah, that was like mush as soon as
it's mush, and I think that's part of the reason people love it.
Yeah, like this bun has like a chew to it.
Yeah. And
The
like
meat has a bite to it. The pickles have a crunch
Yes.
instead of just like.
it's more subtle. Like things aren't as salty.
Yes,
you
they're
know?
not as salty and it's not as sweet. And I think that's like what
like
a
the
lot of-
ketchup and
a lot of fast food is so sweet. A lot of American food is really sweet. We don't realize it
yeah.
until you have something au natural.
Yes.
And it's not, doesn't taste
It's not like
sugar.
a sugar bomb
Yeah.
for a burger,
Yeah.
which is crazy. What you said at the end of eating that is like in the moment, it's more of a drug because you get more sugar, more salt,
Yeah.
fat similar.
Yeah.
And
I think-
but then you said right after that, you know it's not gonna make me feel good.
Yeah, right. But this is like
the
delicious.
opposite. It's like toned down. You're not just getting hit completely with an overload of those things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's kind of light. For
It
a
is
burger.
light, yeah.
It's very light, which is the most surprising
Right.
thing. I mean, we
I know,
grew
many people
like
think-
half of the thing.
That's true. Except for the American cheese. We did not grow the American cheese. So good. I love the ketchup.
We have not tried a fry. I mean, I've been trying them. These are McDonald's fries to me.
Such a good recipe.
You're relying on that salt. Again, it's in the moment saltiness. You're getting hit with it.
These have so much potato flavor.
Potato flavor.
Yeah.
It's so true, tasting those back and forth.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
What is another like iconic fast food meal?
We'll end it at that. You let us
Yeah.
know in the comments. Adios.